Day 3 is December 23rd, 2024. Today's a special day for a number of reasons. It's my father's birthday today, but it's also a Disney birthday today. Today is the 70th anniversary of Walt Disney's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which is one of my favorites. You guys know me. I talk about the Nautilus and 20K a lot. Obviously, the ride at Disney Sea, I always was, as like everyone, I was mesmerized by the submarines going by at Disney World when I was a kid. The walk through at Disneyland Paris. Oh my God, I love. It was so cool to lose that ride and have that mystique. About 20,000 Leagues, and then to have it come back into my life by going to the international parks and seeing the walkthrough and seeing the amazing ride in Japan. It's been a cool journey. But the other cool thing is we now live in a time where there is a bar themed to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and very fittingly debuting this year during its 70th anniversary. So I have to wear a special shirt for today. There does not exist a single particular 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea shirt, a button-up, if you will, that I know of. This is the Club 33 Florida button-up, and is one of the hardest shirts to maintain. I had them press it. I think even they got the collar kind of wrong. It's supposed to be like that. They pressed it wrong. I may not be able to pull it. It might look a little weird on me because they got the collar. They messed up the collar a little bit. Yeah, because it's supposed to fold there, I think, as opposed to there, because you see on this side it's not like that. We'll see how it looks when I put it on, but this is the shirt for today because there are the Magic Kingdom Club 33 location has a Nautilus bar area, of course, and so here's the Nautilus. There's a diving helmet on here. This camera's not cooperating today. Aim down, there you go. Obviously, there's lots of things that are not 20K on this shirt, but also lots of things that are on the porthole. The 20K porthole's there too. Doesn't go with it today, but of course, during the course of this cruise, I've also worn this T-shirt, which we sell. We made this, the Let's Get Naughty T-shirt, which I think is a cool shirt. Now that there's a bar, it's a good place to wear it to. The Let's Get Naughty shirt, available at carouselproducts.com. It's a cool shirt. It's very comfortable. I wear it all the time. You never see it because it's under my button-up, but other people like to wear just T-shirts. I'm just a mental case and like my button-up shirts. So we're going to wear this today, and we're going to celebrate my father's birthday and 20Ks. I also have a little surprise when we go to Periscope later. So it is a particularly rocky sea day. There's a storm somewhere in the distance, and so it's kind of hard to walk today. I have to sneeze. Bless me. Thank you. I almost said bless you back to you, and then I didn't. I'm having a time. So I talked earlier about how people leave stuff out on their doors, on the fish extender, if you will, and stuff. A gentleman actually came around here in Marceline Market. We were grabbing a quick lunch, and he's giving out Christmas ornaments he laser cut himself. We got Stitch. It's very cute. He has a little light. Do you have the little light? Oh, there's the little light. Yeah. So he said it'll last all of Christmas if you put in Christmas Eve, he said specifically. Yes. Put in it. Yeah. It's very kind, very sweet. I always feel bad. I always have so much going on at work, I forget. And then the moment we leave for Port Canaveral, I'm like, oh, I should have brought stuff to give people, and I never end up doing it. I need to be better about that. This is very sweet.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. Out of interest right now, how many of you joined us earlier on this morning for Ducky's first presentation? Thank you for coming back. Now, as Ducky said, you may be hearing the same story, but we thank you so much. For all of you that have just joined us for the first time, welcome. We are so glad to have this gentleman to my left join us this morning. He's going to tell you his fantastic story of his amazing career with the Disney Corporation. I did mention at the first presentation, I had the great pleasure of meeting Ducky for the first time back in 2000 on the Disney Magic. We started a program called Disney Behind the Scenes, where we bring on Imagineers, or maybe some of the performers, or some of the artists and animators, of course. And on about week 5, I think it was, that Ducky came on, and he was such a hit, sailed with us many, many times since then, and also has been part of the Disney Cruise Line legacy, pretty much since day one, right up until this current week. And we can definitely say that without giving away secrets, but you may give away a secret. But so, please put your hands together for the fantastic Disney artist. It is Ducky Williams.
Can you hear me? Am I on? Yeah. Okay, okay, great. Like Aaron said, if you were here this morning, I only do one thing. It's kind of the same talk, but so please bear with me. If you're new, welcome, welcome. Well, everybody's welcome. But I pretty much talk about who I am, what I do, where you can find my work at Walt Disney World, and how I got started, and so on and so forth. For those that don't know me, let me give you a quick introduction. My name is Don Williams. I go by the nickname of Ducky, and that's basically because of Donald Duck. Even though I draw all of the Disney characters, I'm kind of noted throughout Walt Disney World for my Donald Duck drawings. Okay, and a lot of people ask me as well. I have been associated my entire career with Florida, Walt Disney World in Florida. A lot of people think I'm a California guy, but I've been in Florida my entire career. I've been with Disney for 37 years. I retired about 6-7 years ago. I can't keep track because I got more work now than when I was working. I basically do illustration for all of the parks, the resorts, the cruise line, Disney Vacation Club. In the past, if you've ever received a lithograph on Cruise Line here, you can pretty well bet that I did that because I've been doing all of their lithos for the last 25 years or so. So you probably all have a piece of my art. This is some of my finished artwork up in the corners here. Because what I'm doing up here, these are what I call my scribbles, okay? So people like them, and at the end of the presentation, if you get a ticket, we're going to raffle them off, and maybe you get to take one home, okay? Anyways, a little more overview of who I am and what I do. I'm not an animator. A lot of people confuse me with an animator. I've done animation in the past. Animation, as you know, is repetitive drawing over and over and over to make the characters move. Always thought that's what I wanted to be until I actually did it. I found it very tedious working with the same character over and over and over again. I like to work with all of the characters. And my true love is I love to paint. So I draw so I can get to the point where I can paint. Okay. In recent years, I used to be able to find a lot of my work at the Art of Disney in Disney Springs. I had a lot of my work there. Since I retired, I don't really paint for them anymore. I work for a place now called Disney Fine Arts, which is a licensee of Disney. So you can still find my art, my originals. And they display their work at the Boardwalk Hotel. They have a gallery there, the Promenade Gallery, at the Boardwalk Resort at Disney World. And if you ever go in there, you can ask for my art, and you'll see I have my art there pretty much. Some of my stuff there all the time. And you can look for me at the Epcot Art Festival. I'm usually participating in that as well. But my art is still available. Getting back to what I did for the parks, actually I serviced all parts of Walt Disney World. Even though my department's changed over the years many, many, many times. When I first started, we were a very large art department. When I first started, there was one art department at Walt Disney World. And we were actually part of Imagineering, okay? And we did everything. We did merchandise, we did advertising, we did signage, we did Imagineering stuff, we did everything. But over the years, as Disney grew, the department grew, and they broke us down into smaller art departments. But prior to that, when I first started, we had probably maybe 18 or 20 artists in our department. And then as the years went by, and they broke us down into smaller departments, and people left when they opened up studios, I still call it MGM. When they opened MGM, they had animation over there. A lot of people left to go to join the animators over there. And our department kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller until such time, probably about maybe my last 20 years, I was the only artist they had. So even though I was at that time part of marketing, which meant I did all the marketing art, all the advertising, all the mailers, the brochures, tickets, guidebooks, all that kind of stuff. anything that had a character on it like that, even billboards. If anybody, a few years ago, if you saw the Mickey Halloween, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween billboard, where you have the little vampire Mickey. Have you ever seen that illustration? That's why I created him. I created that little, that's my little pet, my little vampire Mickey. But anyway, that's something else. Our department got smaller and smaller. So I was pretty much a one-man art department the last 28 years that I was with Disney before I retired. But even though I was part of marketing, still in the area of Walt Disney World could still come to us for artwork. So I did stuff for Cruise Line, I did stuff for DVC, I did stuff for Shanghai, I did stuff for Europe, I did stuff for Disneyland. So it was primarily Walt Disney World is where you could find my artwork. And like I say, over the years, I do what I call a lot of throwaway art. You know, where you might get a brochure, shows you the hours of the parks or whatever, and it's got a little Mickey on it. That art has to be done, and I would do that. And then I call it throwaway because you use it for the day, and it's one of the parks open until midnight, and then you throw it away when you're done with it. So that's what I call throwaway art. I do it, but it has to be done. It's still important art, okay? But then I've got a few projects that are near and dear to me. Namely, the number one, if you've ever been in Tony's restaurant on Main Street, Tony's Town Square Cafe. We were part of Imagineering then, and that was my project. I put that whole restaurant together. All the artwork in there is my artwork, all the big paintings. Those are original paintings in there. They're not prints or reproductions. The actual paintings are in there. And that's kind of my baby because it was a big project. And it was totally up to me, the scenes I wanted to paint, the image, what I wanted to represent, so on and so forth. And it's actually a piece of the Magic Kingdom. So, you know, it's part of the magic. So that's kind of a special project for me, a special piece of my work that millions of guests enjoyed every year. That and Mickey's house. Way back when we had Mickey's Toontown. They still got it out in California, but they don't have it here anymore. When the way that originated, back during it was one of Mickey's birthdays. I don't know if it was his 60th birthday or his 75th birthday. It was one of his important birthdays, and they wanted to make an area of the park back there where Toontown wound up called Mickey's Birthday Land. And what they wanted to do was have Mickey's house and Minnie's house and Donald's house. And have a couple of attractions or an eatery and things like that. But the thing was, they had 90 days from that first day they met with us to opening day. They had 90 days to plan it, design it, build it, and get it open. That's why a lot of the structures out there were tents rather than buildings. They didn't have time to do structures, except for Mickey's house and Minnie's house and Donald's house. And they came to our department, me and an artist by the name of Russell Shore. We designed Mickey's house. We designed all of those houses because the Imagineers, they had no idea what Mickey's house should look like. Have you ever seen a Mickey cartoon? It's a yellow house with a red roof and little clumpy pillars. So we would draw it up and they would build it. And to the point where I went to Home Depot, I picked out the carpeting and the wallpaper. And Mickey had a little, originally, he had a den in his house, and they had no clue what to put in there. So I brought in actually Disneyland books and records and Mickey Mouse stuff from my own collection, and we filled that room with that memorabilia. And it was probably years later. I hadn't gone over there for a long time, and I went into the house, and they had rehabbed it a few times, and they changed Mickey's den all around. Now they got sports memorabilia and banners and stuff like that in there. And I don't know what happened to my stuff. That just disappeared. But anyways, things like that. And when the cruise line came along, they went, like I say, we broke up into smaller departments. We had a separate department for merchandise. I was part of advertising. They had resort design, so on and so forth. Now, like I said, any area could come to me for artwork. But I didn't typically do merchandise. They had their own department. They were crazy busy doing they do all your cups and t-shirts and pins and all that kind of stuff. I did pretty much everything else. Once in a while they'd come to me, but it was usually a limited edition piece, you know, some kind of collectible thing. But typically I really didn't do merchandise. And Cruise Line, they originally went to merchandise to get their lithos done. And they were so busy over there, they kind of threw Cruise Line stuff back burner because they had so much merchandise to put out. And I was talking to one of the folks over at Cruise Line, and she was complaining that she was in charge of producing the lithos. She was complaining that merchandise wasn't coming through with her art. And I said, well, are these things merchandise or are they giveaways? And she said, well, they're giveaways. I said, well, if they're giveaways, I can do that for you. And so ever since then, I was doing all, and that was way back, one of the first or second lithos. And ever since then, I did all the lithos for Cruise Line. Anyways, it kind of gives you an overview of where my work is. You can see my work anywhere from Bill. Anytime you see a character on something at Disney World, pretty good shot that I had something to do with it or I did it. Okay. Now, a lot of people ask how I get started, and folks that were here earlier, please don't, I hate to bore you, but I kind of want to do one thing, you know, so I'll tell you how I got started. Anyways, a lot of people like to know how I got started with Walt Disney World. And I always wanted to be a Disney artist. I wrote my first letter to Walt Disney when I was 10 years old, asking if I could be a Disney artist. And I actually got a letter back from Walt Disney himself. And yes, I still have the letter. And he basically said that they didn't have any openings for 10-year-old artists. But he was very positive, told me to keep on drawing, so on and so forth, which I did. And as years went by, I got older, went to high school. Now after high school, this was in the 60s, and back then it's not like it is today where pretty much everybody goes to college. Back in the 60s, everybody didn't go to college, you know, unless you were like really smart or kind of rich, you didn't really go. You got out of high school and you got a job, and that was the end of it. And I wasn't rich or that smart, so I wasn't going to be going to college. But what happened when I graduated was in the mid-60s, right when Vietnam was at its peak. And 2 weeks after I turned 18, I got my draft notice. And I really didn't want to go in the Army. So what I did is I went down and I joined the Navy. Because I really preferred the Navy. Even though I had to do 4 years instead of 2, I joined the Navy. And I did 4 years in the Navy. And after I got out of the Navy, I needed to get a job somewhere. So I went back home, Massachusetts, where I'm from. Went back to Massachusetts, went downtown, started putting my name in a bunch of places for a job. And I landed a job in a savings bank. Started as a teller. And I very quickly moved up to branch manager. It's a pretty large bank. They had like 18, 20 offices, 20 branches. And they gave me my own branch. I became a branch manager. It was in a nice little community in a small little town. I had my own branch, had my tellers. It was a nice little comfortable job. But the town that I was in, it was fairly affluent town. We had a lot of stay-at-home housewives and so on and so forth. We had a lot of people in that town. The bank wanted us to be involved with the community. So we had a lot of housewives and such that did oil painting classes and stuff. So what I did is I signed up people if they did oil painting classes or pottery, whatever. I signed people up for a month at a time, and they could display their stuff in my bank. You know, so you got an amateur that could actually display for a month for paintings of fruit and stuff like that. And it went over very good with the community. But what I did is I reserved the month of December for myself. Okay, and I would hang every December my paintings, which of course were all Disney paintings. Okay, but I never lost the Disney thing. I was always in my free time painting and drawing Disney stuff. So every December I would hang they were all matted and framed. I would hang about a dozen Disney scenes that I did of, you know, Cinderella, Pinocchio, or stuff like that. And it looked real nice with the Christmas decorations. You know, Disney and Christmas, they sort of go together. And what happened was, one of my regular customers was the anchorman of the local 6 o'clock news. And he came in to my bank one Christmas time, and he saw all these paintings around. What I didn't know about him was he was a huge Disney collector. And he came up to me and he said, "Where did you get all this Disney stuff from? It's worth a fortune." I said, "No, it's not. It's just stuff that I did." Okay. So he wanted to do a little feature on the 6 o'clock news, you know, local banker paints Disney kind of thing. I said, "Yeah, okay." So one night he came over with his film crew, and they filmed me drawing and painting a little bit. They showed a lot of my artwork. And it went over, it was pretty well received. As a matter of fact, they ran it a couple of nights. But what happened now, like I said, it was a small community. I knew everybody. Knew all the cops. They had a small police force. And we used to hire the cops as when they were off duty to be our security guards, so they could earn a little extra money. And so the cops knew how I felt about Disney. My customers knew how I felt about Disney. My tellers knew how, everybody knew how I felt about Disney. But anyways, one of the cops, after they ran that program, he comes up to me one day. You had to know this cop. He was your typical pot-bellied Irish police, had the accent and everything, and he was real rough, but he was the sweetest guy inside. But anyways, he come up to me and he says, "Well, who's running the Disney company now that Walt's no longer with us?" And I said, "Well, at the time it was Ron Miller, Walt Disney's son-in-law. He was running the company." "Oh, okay." So what he does, without me knowing about it, he goes over to the TV station, he gets a copy of the videotape that they ran on the 6 o'clock news, which showed a lot of my artwork. And he wraps this up with a letter, and he sends it out to Ron Miller at Disney in California. And he writes this letter, "You gotta hire this guy because he draws good and he loves Disney and you gotta hire him." And he sent it out. And I didn't want him, I didn't know he was doing this, okay? And he told me after he did it. And I was kind of upset because I really wasn't ready to take that step yet, okay? As a matter of fact, I probably never would have been ready to take that step because I used to have this little pipe dream in my head that someday Disney would magically come to my house in Massachusetts and pluck me up and make me a Disney artist. But if I approached it and I failed, well, then the dream was gone. So I really kind of needed this push. So anyways, I was upset, but about 2 weeks later, we got the videotape back with a letter from Kelly Animation in California saying that we received your videotape and we were impressed with some of the art. Well, we have no openings, but they gave me a name. They told me I could contact this Ralph Kent in Florida. Now, at the time, Walt Disney World was very new. I didn't realize it had an art department in Florida. I thought everything came out of California. But now I had a name. I had Ralph Kent's name. So I wrote my own letter and I wrapped up the tape and I sent it out to Ralph in California, in Florida. And the whole California deal took about 2 weeks for me to hear from them. Well, I sent this to Ralph and 2 weeks went by, I didn't hear anything. A month went by, I didn't hear anything. 2 months, 3 months, I'm not hearing anything. I'm going crazy up here in Massachusetts. When did they get my tape? What's going on? So I tried to get a hold of his office. Now back then we didn't have computers. So all I could do was dial operator, trying to get numbers for Walt Disney World, long distance and all this stuff. And I went around and around, I got this department, that department. And after a bit, I finally got his number. And so I called long distance to Ralph Kent in Florida. And his secretary answered the phone. And I said to her, my name is Ducky Williams. And I sent Mr. Kent a videotape several months ago, and I wondered if he received it okay. "Oh yeah, he received it. It's sitting here on his desk. He hasn't looked at it yet." I said, I said, "Well, I've got an opportunity to come to Florida. And as long as I'm coming to Florida, could I maybe possibly see Mr. Kent?" He says, "Well, when are you coming?" And I said, "Well, when can I see him?" And she made me an appointment. I had absolutely no intention of going to Florida. I just So now I had to book a flight and take time off of work and put all my artwork together and fly down to Florida with this because I had an appointment. I remember it was on Valentine's Day. And it was kind of bittersweet because it was kind of nerve-wracking because I was excited because back then our art department was in the tunnel. The art department was in the tunnel underneath Main Street. You know, there's a tunnel. Everybody know there's a tunnel under the Magic Kingdom? Well, there's a tunnel underneath the Magic Kingdom, okay? It goes over the whole park. And back then, the art department was in there in the tunnel. So, I mean, it was kind of exciting because I was going to get to go into the tunnel underneath the Magic Kingdom. But at the same time, they were going to be judging my artwork. So, I mean, it was nerve-wracking, but it was exciting at the same time. Anyways, I fly down to Florida. They send somebody, because they had to be escorted down into the tunnel. And they take me down to the art department, and I meet with Ralph. And he brings me into this conference room. Big empty conference room, got these big conference tables. And he brings two of his artists in, this Russell Schroeder and the guy who eventually later did Mickey's Toontown with, and another artist to kind of critique my portfolio. So they brought me in there, and they took all my art out and they spread it out all over these tables. They had about 55, 60 pieces of art, a lot. And they're all examining it, they're looking at it like this, like a fine tooth, and they're not saying a word. I can't tell whether they like it, whether they hate it, not saying anything. They're just doing this for 20 minutes or so, and finally the two artists leave. And Ralph says to me he wants to see me again tomorrow. Good sign, he didn't kick me out again, he wants to see me again. So I go back the next day, they get me down in the tunnel, I go in there. And the way it was put to me, since I had no formal art training, never been in art school or anything, they felt I was close, but I wasn't quite there. I need a little bit of polish, is the way they put it, on some of the characters. So what they were going to do is they were going to give me model sheets of all the characters. Now, what model sheets are, they're basically how to draw sheets, okay? Disney has them for all the characters, going way back to the early days, all the way back to Steamboat Willie, Snow White, and it's basically, there's several sheets on each character, showing you how to draw them. Different expressions, front view, back view, how tall they should be, different expressions. And they got multiple ones of each character. Not just the major characters, all the characters, and your little Cinderella birds and Forrest Gump, they got them on everything. And they're very protected. To get one of these model sheets like on eBay, you pay like $100 for a Xerox of one, okay? But they're giving me this stack of model sheets, official model sheets, and they were going to sign me an artist, Russell Schroeder, his name was. He was their kind of top guy at the time. And the deal was I was supposed to go home and practice the characters using these model sheets and send them into Russell. And Russell would critique them and mark them up and send them back to me. And we'd have this kind of back and forth learning thing. No promise of a job, but hey, I was a happy camper. I got real model sheets. I'm working with a real Disney artist. I was cool with this, okay? So I go home and my bundle of stuff, and I get right off the bat, I go to work in the bank all day long, get out of work, start drawing till the wee hours of the morning. That whole week, that first week, I was so gung-ho, I did 100 drawings, mailed them up to Russell, made copies for myself, Xerox. Second week, I did the same thing. I did 100 drawings, packed them up, and mailed them up to Russell. Third week, same thing. I was taking every minute of my spare time, and it was really a tough pace to maintain. I don't want to cut back, because if I cut back, they're going to think I'm losing interest. So I got to keep up this pace. And so I kept up this pace. And I did 100 drawings a week, every single week, for almost 2 years. And then I figured, they're not going to hire me as long as I'm in Massachusetts. I got to be in Florida. So I walked into the bank. I was there 10 years. I was up for VP, and I quit. And they thought I was nuts, because I had no promise of a job. I don't care. I don't work for Disney. I don't care if I'm selling popcorn. I want a mouse on my paycheck, period. Okay? So I quit, moved down to Florida, and I figured I'll just get a job at the Magic Kingdom, and I'll just do my drawings from down there. And so I quit. I moved down to Florida. And you got to understand, this was back in the late 70s. Walt Disney World isn't what it is now. It was the Magic Kingdom. That was it. Magic Kingdom, Contemporary Polynesian. That was Walt Disney World. No Epcot, no studios, no Animal Kingdom, no water park, none of that. And it's not like it is now where it's like busy all the time. There were definite slow times back then. And I went down there in September, which was the end of the summer. It was their slow season. When I got there, not were they not only hiring, but they were actually cutting hours. They had nothing. And anyways, I go charging off and saw this interview guy in casting, and I told him my whole situation, told him about all my banking experience, you know, maybe I get a job in cash control or something. Told him what I was doing. I wasn't looking for an art job. I just wanted a full-time job. Anything you got? He's got nothing. Come back tomorrow. I went back tomorrow, the next day. Went and saw him through every day for 3 months. And the guy kept telling me he's got nothing, he's got nothing, he's got nothing. And it's getting ridiculous now. I'm getting short on cash now. I was never a saver. I'm not a saver then, I'm not a saver now. Disney, I collect like you, okay? Disney shouldn't even pay me. They should just give me stuff. Okay? Anyway, so I've never not worked. I needed to get out there. And this is crazy. So I went 3 months and I figured, well, I could have went to the SunTrust Bank. That was the big bank in the area at the time. I could have got hired in the bank in a heartbeat, but I wasn't going to give up everything I had in Massachusetts and get stuck in a bank again. I refused to do that. So I figured if I can't get a job at Disney, well, maybe I can at least get a job on Disney property. Because they had that Hotel Plaza Boulevard when you're driving into Disney Springs, all those hotels on that street there that are not Disney hotels, but they're on Disney property. You know, that Hilton and the Holiday Inn. And if you drive on that road, just before you get to Disney Springs, the last one on the right, I think they keep changing, I think it's a Wyndham now. But back then, it was the Dutch Inn Hotel. And I got a job in the Flying Dutchman dining room as a seating host and cashier. Okay, and I would seat people to their seats, and I would they'd bring their check up to the register, and I'd check them out. And only lasted 2 weeks there because what happened was if you were a Disney employee, Disney cast member, and if you ate there, they give you 25% discount on your lunch. So I'm there doing the register, and I got customer after customer coming up and flashing their ID in my face for their discount. And I'm thinking, what have they got that I ain't got, that they got a Disney ID and I can't get one? And it just drove me nuts. I lasted 2 weeks and I quit. And I went right from there back to the Disney casting office, and I saw the same interview guy, and I said, look it, I've been coming here for 3 months every day, and you can't tell me in 3 months' time that someone hasn't quit or retired or gotten fired or dropped dead. You're gonna have one job over me. Come on, okay? So this guy goes in the back room and talks to his manager. It's almost like a used car salesman making a deal for me. And he comes out and he says, okay, I got 2 permanent positions open. It's okay. The first one, they had a small version of Disney Springs, which was just the marketplace. It was called Lake Buena Vista back then, a couple of little shops. Real quaint, real nice. He says, I got one position. It's graveyard custodial at Lake Buena Vista. I said, I'll take it. He said, well, I should at least tell you about the other one. Oh, what's the other one? He said, that's doing portraits of guests in the park. I thought, oh, why can't I do that? Well, you know, you gotta have a special talent to do this, and you're gonna be interviewed by the guy, there's a guy in charge of all those artists. And he knew my whole situation. He knew I was sending out work, man. And the guy that's in charge of these artists, he's in the art department that I'm trying to get into. Okay. And he says, I said, well, can you get me an interview with him? And, well, you know, that might take me a couple of days. Or can you save that custodial job for 1 day for me? Okay. And he said, yeah, okay, I'll keep it for you. So I left there, went to the lobby, went to the payphone. No cell phones back then, okay? Went to payphone, and I called up Russell, the artist I've been sending my drawings to, and I said, Russell, do you know of a guy that's in charge of artists that do portraits in the park? Do you know him? He says, Sam? Oh yeah, he works in the office right next door to me. would you ask him if he can see me like this afternoon? He said, hold on, I hear him say, hey Sam, can you see this guy this afternoon? And Sam said, yeah, okay. So I had my interview, okay? So I got clearance to go down into this tunnel when I saw this guy Sam, who's in charge of the artist, and we hit it off perfectly. This is the God's honest truth. I'm not making this up. Before Sam came to Disney, he was a bank manager in Connecticut for 10 years. And so we clicked, okay? Anyway, he hired me, okay? So what this was not doing, it was doing guests in the park, but it wasn't making you into a cartoon like they do now, where they make you a cartoon. This was realistic portraits where they shade you with pastel chalks and all this stuff. But what it is, it's profiles. The guests would sit sideways and you do their profile, okay? And there was a trick to it. There was 3 days training because what they do is you have the guests sit sideways and you take a piece of like brown chalk. What you got to do is just follow the outline of their face, the forehead, the nose, the lips, and the chin. You get that one line right, you got the whole likeness. Everything else is frosting on the cake, okay? So I had 3 days training. They had in Tomorrowland, the big fast food restaurant. I still call everything by their old names. I can't remember all the new names. I still call it Tomorrowland Terrace. Big fast food restaurant there by the teacups there. They had an attic up there, and he had an easel set up in the attic. And we went up there and we'd bring one of the servers up one at a time and sit them down and we practice on them. And I did 3 days training, and then they flew me out to the park doing the portraits. And the way it worked back then, Disney charged $4 a portrait. Disney got $3 and the artist got $1. That's how you got paid. So it was all about volume. You didn't have to worry about guests. The guests were always there. So it was all about volume. The faster you went, the more money you made that day. And it'd take about 10-15 minutes, but you cranked all day long. You could do decent back then. And I did that for 6 weeks. And you gotta remember, the whole time I'm still doing my drawings and mailing them into Russell, okay? And did that for 6, but now I'm a cast member. Now I work for Disney. Now I go down in the tunnel. I can hand deliver my drawings to Russell, okay? I can get to go see my boss, or I need to see my boss. He's in that department. I gotta go see my boss. I get to walk through the department and see everybody. And after a period of time, you get to know the receptionist. Oh, hey, Carol, how you doing today? Get to know different ones, kind of get your foot in the door a little bit there. And I'm very devious, Anyways, I was working for the park now, and so I get to hand deliver. And anyways, I did the art festival for 6 weeks. And then all of a sudden, I went in one day, and they told me that they were closing down the art festival and putting in an orange juice bar. So my job basically was going away. But they promised all the artists jobs, not art jobs, but a job. So I wound up in the big gift shop in Tomorrowland, stuffing the shelves with t-shirts and punching the cash register. Okay? And I did that for a couple of weeks. And then finally one day, I got a message at my location that they wanted to see me in the art department when my shift was over. So what happened was, Russell, he was an artist like me. He could say I was frustrated because they weren't hiring me, but he was just an artist. He can't hire me, okay? And Ralph Kent, he was just made vice president. So he was up in California, flying all around. He was busy, he couldn't bother with anybody. But there was a manager of the art department I didn't really know about, okay? And he kind of managed the art department. And what happened was he went to Russell, because Russell was his top artist at that time, and told Russell he wanted to increase his character staff a little bit. And he wanted Russell in on the interviews to review portfolios and look at the artwork and stuff like that. And Russell told him, well, as long as you're interviewing for new artists, we got this guy that's working up in the park that's been sending me drawings. Why don't you, take a look at him. And the manager said, well, let me see what he's been sending you. So Russell carted in literally boxes and boxes and boxes of drawings. I mean, if you do the math, it comes out to almost $10,000 over a 2-year period. 10,000 drawings over a period of 2 years. So that's when I got a message that they wanted to see me in character department. So I met with him, and the way it was put to me, they were going to bring me in on a 30-day trial. Okay, I guess I was on loan from upstairs from the gift shop. Okay, and they were going to bring me in for 30 days, and at the end of 30 days, if I did well and they could swing an opening, they would keep me. Done deal. I'm in their department. If I did well, but they really couldn't swing an opening yet, at least he knew where to get me when an opening came up. Okay. And of course, at the end of 30 days, if I didn't do well, then I'm punching the cash register for the rest of my natural life. Okay. So I went in that next week, and from day one, me being the type of person I am, I'm worried what's going to happen in 30 days. I'm sweating it out the whole week. And they had me doing Mickey that first week. All I did, 8 hours all day long, was just drawing Mickey. Front view, back view, side view, upside down, any view you could possibly think of Mickey. Did Mickey all week long. Second week I went in, they had me start on the duck, drawing Donald, doing this, Donald doing that, Donald. Third week, they put me on Goofy, drawing Goofy. The middle of the third week, they gave me an actual project to work on, a real job. This is a good sign. They wouldn't give me a real job if they're going to get rid of me. Besides, it was a huge job. It had like 3 paintings to it. Didn't know if I'm going to be able to finish this in a week and a half. That was going to keep me. So I felt good about that. And I was working on that the 4th week. And before you know it, it's Friday. It's the 4th week. 30 days is up. I go in that day and I'm on needles. I'm nervous all day long. When they're going to tell me what the deal is. They're going to keep me. They're going to make me go back upstairs. What they're going to do. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And before you know it, 5:30 rolls around and everybody's gone. Nobody said anything. So I'll just keep coming back until they tell me that. And I went back every day for 37 years. They never told me. That's how I got started at Disney. And I used to go, when Epcot first opened, they sent me around the country doing promotional radio tours and TV spots and stuff, promoting Epcot. And you get these TV interviewers that, you got a 2-minute spot and they ask you, well, how'd you get started at Disney? You got 2 minutes. There's no way. I did it once in drawings and they finally hired me. That's about the only way I can tell it. But it's been a really good career. Like I say, I'm still doing all the cruise line stuff, doing stuff for DBC, doing stuff for Club 33, plus painting for the gallery. So I've got a full, or a retired guy. I'm not retired in 20 bit. And now I just started sailing again. When I was working, I was doing a cruise about every 3 or 4 weeks. I've done over 100 cruises working, it's been good. But then, of course, when I retired, it stopped for a while, and then COVID hit. But then I was on the Australia cruise last year, and I was on as a guest, and they asked me if I would mind doing one of these gigs. I thought I was, even though I was a guest, and that kind of kicked in me coming back on the ship. So it was great to be back with all you folks. You ready for the auction, or you got a few more minutes, or what?
We're ready, if you're ready, or if you want to tell one more story, that's fine.
I can tell another couple of little stories. I told the Michael Jackson story this morning, but were you guys all here this morning, or were you not? No. You want to hear the Michael Jackson? What happened? I'm old school. I'm not real with the, I'm an old guy, okay? Even then, even when I was young, I was an old guy, okay? And this is when they were doing, Captain EO was coming to Epcot, that 3D film, and we were doing the movie poster for it. They had a movie poster done for outside the attraction. and had a big portrait of Michael Jackson. And one of the artists, one of our fine artists, was doing the poster for us. So Michael had to come in and approve it and all this kind of stuff. But way back when the whole idea of doing Captain EO first initiated, he met with our department. And I'm sitting in my office one day doing my thing, and Ralph Kent, our VP, or guy that hired me, I really owe a lot to Ralph. He was my mentor, and the only reason I ever became what I am is because of Ralph. But anyways, I was in my office doing my thing, and Ralph came in. It was about 4 in the afternoon, and he said, "Can you work late tonight?" I said, "Well, yeah, what you got?" And he said, "Well, Michael Jackson is coming in tomorrow, and I wondered what I'd like for you to do is do a little painting of Mickey doing the moonwalk. So we can give it to him tomorrow." I said, "Yeah, I'd be happy to do it." I said, "I got a question. I don't know who's Michael Jackson and what's a moonwalk?" And I'm from the era of the Platters and the Shirelles. I don't know anything about Michael Jackson. So they had to show me a video of this moonwalk thing, So I did. I stayed and I did a paint, no background, but just a nice painting of Mickey, just a white background, doing in the pose with his glove and all that kind of stuff. And I stayed. It took me like 4 in the morning, and I went home. I got back about 8:30 the next morning. Ralph come in, gave the painting. Great, loved it, nice job, blah blah blah. Okay, and he said, "Now Michael's coming over this morning. So I want you to stay in your office because I'm going to bring him over to meet you." Okay, so don't be wandering around having coffee or visiting with all the other guys. Stay in your office. So when I come over here, I want you to be there. Okay, like, okay, I'll be here. Okay. So I'm waiting in my office all morning, and finally it gets to be like 11 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't budged. So I said to Russell in the next office, I said, "Russell, I really got to run to the men's room. Ralph's supposed to be bringing this guy around. If he comes, just tell him I'll be back like in 2 minutes, and he's going to run to the men's room." Okay, fine. So I run over to the men's room, and there's other guy that works with this guy, our publicity guy named Wallace. He was in the men's room when I went in there, and he was all excited. He said, "I got to see Mike. Did you see Michael? I just met him. Did you see him?" I said, "Well, no, I haven't seen him yet. We're supposed to be bringing him around." He said, "Well, he's gone." I said, "What do you mean he's gone? Ralph told me to sit in my chair, not to move it. He's going to bring him in." He said, "No, he left about 5 minutes ago." Okay, I don't know who the guy is anyway. So I go back to my office and I start working again. And about 10 minutes later, Ralph comes walking to my office and he's all looking down and he said, "Geez, I'm sorry I didn't bring him." He said, "I was going to bring him in, but all of a sudden he got a call and he had to dash out of here before I could bring him over." I said, "Ralph, don't even worry about it. I don't even know who the guy is." I said, "But if you pulled this baloney with somebody like a net for the cello, you'd have a problem." But I did. Later on, as that poster progressed, this guy by the name of Harry, he was one of our features. He was a beautiful artist. He did like a portraits of Walt, and he wasn't a character artist. He did the fine art. He did paintings of the castle and portraits of Walt, really that kind of stuff. And he was doing this portrait. He's doing a beautiful job on it. But Michael, he would come by about every other week or so to look at this poster. This poster had to be approved by Michael Jackson, George Lucas, Francis Ford Coppola, Michael Eisner. I mean, everybody under the sun had their 2 cents in there, and that's a nightmare. But anyways, Michael kept changing himself. He'd have this thing just about done, and then Michael got a nose job or something. So he had to go in and change his nose. And 2 weeks later, all of a sudden he had one of those little things put in his chin, that little thing. So he had to go back and do that. And then he changed his hair. And I mean, he was driving this poor guy nuts, but he still did a beautiful job on this painting. And he came, one of the visits later on that he came, he wanted to learn how to draw Mickey Mouse. So they stuck me and Michael in this little conference room, just the 2 of us. He sat there, I sat here. I said, "Okay, draw a circle," and he draw a circle, and do this and do this. And we did the how to, just like we do here on the ship, the how to draw thing. And he actually did a pretty good Mickey. And then He wanted mine, and I signed it, gave it to him, and I asked him, can I have yours? Can you imagine if I had a Mickey Mouse drawn by Michael Jackson? But he wanted to keep it, so he got to keep it, so I never got his drawing. And then he came back about 2 to 3 weeks later, and he asked for me because he wanted a sketch of Peter Pan. So he came down to my office and I drew him a Peter Pan. And then a few years later when we opened Disneyland Paris, they sent me over as part of the opening team because opening day, they flew like a whole slew of celebrities over there with their families, and there were going to be all these celebrities opening day. And my function was I had to go over there because they were having like I think 4 different celebrity functions, a celebrity brunch and a celebrity dinner, and my job was to stand at an easel during their cocktail hour and draw characters for them. And so I drew for a lot of, well, mostly the celebrities' kids I was drawing for. And he was over there, and he came up to me, he remembered me. So he was a very, very, very nice fella, very nice fella. Anyway, that's one of my little, the thing about working with Disney is I got to meet not so much celebrities. I mean, I got to meet them, but I got to meet my childhood heroes, which were all the old animators, and people like Annette, and people like Hilly Mills, and people like Vespar. I mean, I got to meet those people. As a matter of fact, when they opened Epcot, no, it wasn't Epcot, it was when they opened up the Living Cities, we had a big press event, and we had these celebrities come in, and they had TV stations, radio stations set up all at Epcot, and I was on the same rotation as Annette, so I got to hang out with her all day long. So I finally did get to meet Annette. Appreciate the cruise lines. It's always fun to be on the ship. And I think that's about it. What we're going to do is we're going to start raffling off these scribbles, okay?
Yes.
It's not done yet.
They're gonna put it on fire.
No.
Yep.
I didn't do it.
I sure had it. That's a good move. Can I take a picture of it?
You're good.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, the beginning, smoke. Oh, I like that. There you have it.
There it is.
There you have it, man. Orcas daiquiri.
So the Periscope Pub ended up being a little bit of a bust. Not in that I got my photos and everything with my, as you saw, I marked in a special way the day. We had our pin, which is an original pin that was worn on the costume, beginning in 1971 for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea at the Magic Kingdom. I also had the patch. And then one of the bartenders was nice enough to take off their Periscope Pub pin, which is on their costume. And let me take a picture of that. Since it's a facsimile, a homage to that original cast member pin, they let me take a picture of the two together. So that was cool. The bust part was that they don't start food in there till 5. We have the 8:15 dinner seating. There's no way we could crank out a couple of food items and then still eat at 8:15. And I'm excited about dinner tonight because it is Coco Night 1, which we did not get on the media sailing. I was worried because it's also Pirate Night. I was worried that if you've cruised with Disney before, you know Pirate Night changes the menu in the venue you're in. So I was concerned that I was going to end up not getting Night 1 of Coco. But that's not the case because it's the Maiden and because people want to see the ship. I'm very happy that we get to experience what the Night 1 of Coco is. You've seen Night 2 if you watched our content. You've seen the full dinner show. We had the front row. So we have, not because of any talent, I'm not tooting our own horn, but we were given a great table. And so we have the front row view of the second night dinner show, if you want to watch that on the channel. Highly recommend. And then also Eric and I, in the midst of that, while Rosanna was nice enough to film that, Eric and I filmed the review of the night 2 food. Obviously, there's more to try at night 2. We will get there on night 6, I think, of our cruise. Is that right? Yes. But tonight we get to try night 1 of Coco, a whole different menu, different show in some way, shape, or form. We're going to see what the show is like. They said it's more atmospheric, less show, but it's still going to set up that very emotional night 2 show. So I can't imagine that show is already so emotional. Adding another layer to it with whatever's going to happen, foreshadowing all that tonight. Very excited. But I stopped at Jumbo Sweets to try a bite of 2 things. I'm literally going to try 1 bite of these because I don't want to overdo it on this cruise. And then I'm going to give my parents the rest. But the first thing we're going to try is the popsicle facsimile, which is going to be a popsicle. Well, they don't even call it that, but it is a paw shortbread cookie. My sinuses have, the weather's been killing my sinuses this cloudy, rain, cold and hot, and my sinuses are acting up. But it's supposed to be a popsicle, but they call it the paw shortbread cookie. It looks like it's 2 shortbread cookies with cream in between them on a stick. I'm going to try this. I'm filming just so you know. I'm going to try a bite of this. I had a feeling it was going to explode because the cream is delicate. This is $4.50. Of course, Jumbo's is upcharge. It's not included. This is very good, though. I think there's chocolate in the middle, but I'm going to let my parents work their way down to the middle. I'll have 1 more bite. That top cookie's coming loose. Man, that's so good. 2 perfectly cooked shortbread. Please stop. Give me a minute. 2 perfectly cooked shortbread cookies, perfectly baked shortbread cookies, a nice sweet cream. I would absolutely get this again. I love that. Now, the other thing I wanted, I got the 2 most thematic items. Gideon Grey, of course, in the movie, is a bully to Judy when she's a kid, but then later on he works with the Hops family to source the ingredients for his pies. He becomes a baker. And so they have an homage to Gideon Grey in one of the items, which is a pie, kind of a pie. It's Gideon Grey's almond blueberry tart. And so he's made an almond blueberry tart. If you look around in Jumbo's, you'll actually see there's like a crate of pies from Gideon Grey in the propping, which I love. I mean, Zootopia is one of my favorite movies. You guys know that. If you watch the Shanghai vlogs when we got to go to Shanghai and see Zootopia land for the first time. This is, again, almond blueberry. So I'm seeing, what is under this layer? Oh, yeah, there's a coating of blueberry on top of like a, I'm guessing, like a marzipan almost. That's very good. Really nice flavor. You get that sweet, the sweet blueberry up against that almond cake. Yeah, I thought it was going to be like a, I thought usually there's like a secondary gel in these, like a blueberry over like a marzipan kind of thing. But it's actually cake with like a yellowish layer over it and then the blueberry. So it's just this rich, almost like it tastes almost like frangipane cake a little bit, but with blueberry. And the crust is super soft, like it's not too hard, the pie crust. It's really good. I would give both of these a 7. I would go back for both of these. I love these. I know they're extra and you paid for a cruise and you should just utilize the free stuff, but I happen to really like these. So there you go. It is Pirate Night, and so I'm repping with my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean shirt, this Walt Disney Imagineering exclusive from a D23 many years ago with my boy, Pig Leg Pete. Very excited to show him off. Not a lot of good occasions for him, but tonight, one of those. Coco dinner, Pirate Night. I have a Coco shirt for next time we go there, but it's Pirate Night tonight.
hanging undiscovered.
Hola, hola. Come, it's almost time to eat. Bienvenidos, everybody. Welcome to Santa Cecilia.
We are so excited to have you all here to celebrate and help prepare for Dia de Muertos. Ven, mi amor.
It's been 3 years since we lost our dear Mama Coco. And every year, in her honor, we welcome travelers from all over the world to join our celebration.
Mama, but where is Miguel? Is he in the attic again with the guitar playing?
Don't worry so much, mi amor. I'm sure he's on his way. And he's all grown up now.
My teenagers.
We have so much to celebrate, and the food is going to be wonderful.
Well, of course it's going to be wonderful. I made everyone's favorites. Tacos, flan, and my special recipe, shrimp diabla. But today is very special, and not just because of the food. You see, my family has a long and beautiful heritage
Of shoes made with generations of Familia Rivera pride and joy.
No, music. Mijo, you have to let the shoes thing go. My grandfather, Hector Rivera, wrote a lot of very beautiful, very famous songs. But they were stolen by a cruel man by the name of Ernesto de la Cruz. But it turns out the lyrics to his songs were all written in the letters that he wrote to my Mama Coco when she was just a little girl. And since discovering the truth, things have changed so much for my family.
Chorro has changed with all the music, the singing, the dancing. You wouldn't guess it wasn't allowed before.
Es cierto. I was so wrong about everything, and I have a lot of apologizing to do. We've all been there before, right? Gracias a Dios, I make the best enchiladas. My favorite apologies come from the kitchen.
It's hard not to forgive those enchiladas.
And now Dia de los Muertos is even more special because it is filled with music. How we keep their spirits alive when we celebrate. How many of you have a song that makes you think of a loved one, huh? Oh, those people will always be with you because we have such a beautiful way to celebrate them. Music connects us to our loved ones. And that is why I want to start this evening by introducing my favorite musician, my grandson, Miguel! ¡Ay, qué chiquitito! ¡Ven aquí, mi amor! ¡Qué lindo! That's my grandson.
Oh, Mom, it's okay. Mundo! Hey! How are you? Hello, everyone! Señoras y señores, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenas tardes, buenas noches, señoritas y señores. Be here with you tonight, brings me joy, que alegría. For this music is my language and the world is mi familia.
For this music is my language and the world is mi familia.
For this music is my language and the world is mi familia. Hey, amigos, where are you from? Oh, welcome!
Amiga, where are you from? Houston, welcome!
Amigos over here, where are you from? England, welcome!
And amiga, where are you from? Texas!
So many people from so many different places. The world truly is mi familia.
And we are so proud to have you as our family!
Señoras y señores, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenas tardes, buenas noches, señoritas y señores. Be here with you tonight, brings me joy, que alegría. For this music is my language and the world is mi familia.
This music is my language and the world is mi familia.
For this music is my language and the world is mi familia.
This music is my language and the world is mi familia.
For For this music is my language and the world es mi familia.
Welcome, everyone! I can't believe you're all here to get ready for Dia de Muertos with us. It's my favorite holiday, you know? A few years ago, Dia de Muertos changed my life forever. But now, look at this big celebration!
A celebration you almost missed. You are so late. Miguel, what took you so long to get here?
I'm sorry, Abuelita. I must have lost track of time playing music. You see, I have to sing. I have to play music. It's not just in me, it's who I am. Es lo que soy. You know that feeling, Abuelita. Like there's a song in the air and it's playing just for you. A feeling so you could reach out and touch me. I never knew I could want something so much, but it's only a song has the power to change the heart.
I do. Especially this time of year. Music connects us to our ancestors. And just like your Papa Hector, you play so beautifully. Your gift has become an important part of how we celebrate Dia de Muertos. But if you don't stop for me, you're gonna fade away into the air.
Don't worry, we're about to fix that right now. We have so much to do to get ready for Dia de Muertos. The music, the decorations, and all the different parts of the ofrenda that have to come together. And we sure can't do it on an empty stomach. Everyone, are you feeling hungry? Perfecto, the food is ready to eat.
And it smells so good.
Que bueno. Tonight, you are all familia. And we've worked so hard to prepare a big family meal for all of you to enjoy. Things may have changed a lot for us these past few years, but if there's one thing you can be sure of, it's that nobody goes hungry here tonight. So sit back and enjoy the food. Let's go! It's time to eat!
Time to eat, delicioso. Bienvenidas, bienvenidos. Buen provecho.
Welcome to night one of Plaza de Coco. We did not get to do this on the media cruise. We only got to see the amazing night two, but so far you just saw that little introduction from the Rivera family, and now the band is playing, which is a nice atmosphere. It's really enjoyable. But this is an entirely different menu from night two for night one, and we're gonna try it. Let's see what we've got here. Appetizers up first. The chorizo street croquettes are toasted corn, chili lime crema, cotija cheese, and cilantro. My father was nice enough to share. These are pretty good. They're a little chalky. They're not bad. They're really rich. Super rich and creamy inside. The fried exterior is perfect. They're good. They're like a 4 or 5. You can taste the chorizo that's spicy. Get the kick from the chorizo. I'll give it a 5. I like them. They're good. My mother got the goat cheese, yellow and red beet tower with almond crumble and chive honey dressings. My mother already said she likes this. This looks good. It does. It's a great, cool presentation. It's pretty. It's not the best goat cheese I've had, but it's good.
How come I didn't get my soup?
Again, not super high quality goat cheese, but
This came together.
it's good enough. Up against the beet is very good. You definitely get the honey. You get that sweetness for sure. on top of that, you know, punch of the goat cheese. That's good. I give that a 5 too. Next up I have the vegan option or plant-based, which is the toasted pumpkin seed garbanzo bean hummus, which has pumpkin seed, garbanzo bean, orange, lime, roasted garlic, cucumber, jicama, and bolillos. We're right under a speaker. Hope you can hear me. I hate to be disrespectful. I love the live music, but gotta tell you what to eat. It's like garlic bread with it. Looks awfully buttery. It's oil. Oh wow. Wow. It's very good. Obviously it's cold. The garlic bread's not fresh, but it's good. It's very garlicky. Hummus is excellent. Like, I love that flavor. I don't know how to explain it other than it tastes like garbanzo bean. It's very well seasoned. I'd give that a 6. I love that. All right, and then the last thing we have is Abuelita Elena's Shrimp Diablo, which is sauteed garlic shrimp, sliced fingerling potatoes, mild chili chipotle sauce, cilantro, pickled red onion, and toasted garrotes. And this garlic bread is on here, unadvertised again, but the garlic bread is here on this one as well. Let's see how mild this sauce is. We know we talked about the last time we ate here, how they tone things down for, you know, an audience that may not be used to this kind of food. It's got a nice kick to it, actually. Mild is fair, but I feel like there's some people that you tell them this is mild and they say their mouth is on fire. But I would agree with mild, but I think they're going to run into some problems with guests. The shrimp is perfect. It's not fishy at all. It's well cooked. This is very good. I give this a 6. It's, what do you get, 3 of them? 3 shrimp. Oh, 4. 4 shrimp. It's a decent sized serving. Of course, you can order as much as you want. It's Disney Cruise Line rotational dining, but I really like that. I love this garlic bread. Yeah, I'll go 6 on that. So far, so good. We're going to try some soup while they sing and dance. Chicken tortilla soup is pulled red chili chicken, cut corn, black beans, red bell pepper, cilantro, queso fresco, and crisp tortilla. That is perfect. I wish I could clap, I don't have hands. It's spicy, the chicken is tender and juicy. It's so rich, that tomato is so rich in there. The chili chicken, this is a 7 out of 7. This is my favorite thing. You're gonna love that. That's unbelievable. Wow, that's so good. Then my mother got the red and green lentil soup, which is paprika spice sausage, carrots, and fire roasted tomatoes.
I don't try nothing. I know what's in it.
This would have been a 7 if I hadn't just had that, and I don't want to hold it against this, because this is a very well-seasoned lentil soup. It's really, the vegetables come through. They're really good. The sausage comes through too. You get a little bit of that peppery kick from the sausage. This is really good. I'm going to give this a 7 too. The soups are always on point. This is perfection. Perfection. I'm good. I'm already sweating from trying to eat 500 things in 10 minutes. Let's watch some show.
Esta vida mejor que se acabe, no es para mí, pobre de mí.
bring you another. This is good. Amazing. Chorizo sausage. Do you want one? No, I have enough. Very good. A little spicy, but very good. And the chicken is like sliced thin. Very good. Both of those are very good. He's coming?
Hey, amigo, why don't you join us for a song?
Yeah, sure. Why don't we play the one we've been rehearsing?
Okay. You make me loco, the way you keep me guessing. I'm not gonna be asking. I'll count it as a blessing. That I'm only un poco loco. Eso, Miguel. Okay, but how about Necesita Chihuahua? Ooh, I love that one. But how should I play it? Because I used to play like this. And I play like this. You'll be fine, just follow us. Familia, feel free to clap along for this one, okay? Vámonos, Recio.
Thank you. I'm very excited based on how good night 2 was and how good this has been so far. We have a plethora of entrees. I'm going to start with my mother ordered the red capsicum. Is that capsicum? Red capsicum and green parsley grilled snapper with fried yuca, refried beans, spinach, pico de gallo, and lime. I don't know what red capsicum is. Let me try the red capsicum first.
Are you guys enjoying the food? Did anyone try the enchiladas? The enchiladas are my personal favorite.
Oh, I do. I have one. I haven't tried it yet.
It really, really tastes the difference. Did you have enough to eat today, sir?
Did you have enough to eat today, sir?
That is my secret ingredient. And you think I don't feed my guests enough? Did you even eat?
Well, no, not yet, senora.
There's not a ton of flavor from either.
And for that,
The snapper's okay. It's a little tough. It's not super tender. It's all right. It's not bad. It's just bland. They're just bland. How's the yuca? Give me like that half a one. I think I had these the other time. They were good.
Yes, that is the power of music.
I mean, the yuca fries are excellent. It's a real forgettable dish. It's like a 4 out of 7. All right, my mother also got the pork, which is pasilla brown sugar rubbed roasted pork tenderloin with whipped boniato, chard, crisp taro chips, and maple juice. Your grandfather my grandfather used to sing this song? Yeah. We're Italian.
I don't know what he always sang.
He just liked it? Okay.
Esposito or Pinto? Oh.
The pork, good. It's a little dry. The rub is quite good. If that was tender and juicier, that would be really great. Let me just try this little, the accompaniment. The mash is good. We'll give it like a 4. It's a shame it's dry, because that rub is really good. It brings a lot of flavor on the exterior. You didn't like the snapper at all? Maybe I gave that too high of a score then. Let's knock the snapper down to a 3. I'll give the pork a 4. The pork is certainly a little better, just a little dry. My father got the short rib. So my father's a little picky. He's a little afraid of, as we talked about in the last review, some people might be a little afraid of culture. So he got Enrique's port wine braised shortcut beef short rib. Center cut, sorry. Enrique's port wine braised center cut beef short rib with cheddar cheese, green onion, red skin mash, long green beans, and crisp shallots.
French fries.
This is pretty good. It's tender and juicy. I'd like a little more seasoning, but it's really good. It's well cooked, real tender.
Good.
Yeah, a little more flavor would be nice, but it's solid. It's a good dish. How was your mash?
It was good.
You like the mash? I'll give that a 5. Is there a little bit of mash right there? Can I try it? That little bit in the middle? Oh, your mashed potatoes are good.
It's good, right?
I'm going to give that a 5. Let's go 6. Compared to the other two things, let's go 6 on that. 6 out of 7. That's good. All right, now I have a vegetarian dish and I have a vegan dish. For vegetarian, we have the butternut squash enchilada with pinto bean, baby spinach, chihuahua cheese, roasted corn, and red guajillo chili sauce.
This looks less dry.
It's too late. I already reviewed it. They don't get a second chance.
Yeah.
That was not as dry. This one? Yeah. Still, I don't know. It's a little tough.
Yeah, now I have to sensitive.
I don't know. I'm keeping my thoughts on the pork. This looks good. So that sauce surrounding it brings a little bit of spice, which is sorely needed, I think, on a lot of these dishes. But I get it. They want to serve as many people as well as possible, so you don't want to overdo the spice and scare people off. It's a little on the doughy side, but the flavors are all there. The beans are perfectly cooked. There's a lot of good flavors going on here. A little bit of spice, you get the starchiness, the... Yeah. I'll give this a 5. I'm gonna give this a 5. It's pretty good. Just a little on the doughy side. It could be slightly better. And then last but not least for our entrees, we're going to try the vegan dish, the plant-based, which is plant-based tacos. No family member in the Rivera family wanted to lay claim to the vegan tacos. They didn't get a name. Wild mushrooms, chilies toreros, apple chayote slaw, cashew crema, pico de gallo, and soft flour tortilla. These look real slaw heavy. That's not bad. The mushrooms are quite good. They're cooked well, they're tender. It is a lot of slaw, and it's perhaps too much where the mushroom gets lost in it. Like I had to specifically bite just the bottom to get just a little bit of slaw and a good amount of mushroom. Maybe I just want less slaw. That could just be a preferential thing for me. They're good though. I give it like a 4. I think if you're vegan, we just came with Rosanna on the media cruise. There were not a lot of options for vegan, and so to have something specifically vegan that's at least good is good. So I'm giving it a 4. She might give it a 5 or a 6 if I'm being honest, just based on other options on the cruise. But pretty solid. I think we liked night 2 overall. I think entrees better, but oh, that soup. To go back to that soup again. I'm gonna book another cruise just to get that tortilla soup. I'm not even joking.
Sing with us. Just one song. I'm gonna make it.
Amigos, is it too late for one more song? For you? Of course not, Miguelito. Well, that's easy. It has to be Cielito Lindo, right? Cielito Lindo is one of my favorite songs to sing with my family. The lyrics mean sing and don't cry, because when we sing our hearts are happy. After all our family has been through, I'm so grateful we can finally share this feeling together. And it's so easy to sing along. Can you all sing after me? Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Yeah. Yeah, you all sound great. I'll tell you when it's time to sing along.
To have all these new friends join us here in Santa Cecilia as we prepare for Dia de Muertos.
And to share our family's musical heritage with everyone here. It's true. It means so much for me to get to share my passion with my family and to know that it came from my ancestors before me. That's why I love to see them all here in the ofrenda. When we put up their pictures, we tell stories about them all, and in a way, they right here with us.
I agree. But before you all go, there's one more thing we have to do.
Abuelita, they already ate all the enchiladas. They're all gone.
I know. We have to hang the papel.
language and the world is mi familia. For this music is my language and the world is mi familia. For this music is my language and the world is mi familia.
Thank you all for joining us this evening.
We'll see you again in just a few days for Día de Muertos.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Adiós, hijo.
Adiós. Buenas noches a todas y todos. Gracias por estar aquí. Good night. Hasta luego. Buenas noches. Buen provecho. Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Happy birthday, Thomas. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Thomas. Happy birthday to you. Woo!
Many more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because it is the most popular course of course. We did all 6 desserts, so we are going to try. I'm going to try a bite of all 6 desserts because I am mentally unwell. So the first is going to be the margarita. Actually, let's try the ice cream. It's going to melt. The Miguel's Remember Me Sundae. You should remember me all days, probably. But cookies and cream ice cream, Oreo cookies, chocolate fudge sauce, and whipped cream. You're going to drop it. Who can forget that famous scene in Coco where they gather around the ofrenda for Oreos and ice cream? I have the infamous Sunday spoon. Get some Oreo and some whipped cream. What could this possibly taste like? It's an Oreo sundae. I mean, they don't change, right? Anywhere you've ever had an Oreo sundae, they're the same. They're good. I'm gonna obviously as an Oreo sundae, it's a 6 out of 7, but it's so. I guess it's like the safety dessert for people if you're afraid of all this other stuff. I don't know. I'm gonna knock it down to a 4 because it's not very creative, but of course. Disney Cruise Line rotational dining finds a way to kind of ruin it. The Oreo on top is stale. Here, would you like? I know you like ice cream. Here you go.
You want ice cream?
Here, enjoy your traditional Mexican sundae.
All of it.
You don't have to have all of it. Let's have the margarita lime cheesecake. That's over here.
Thank you.
This white bar thing. Yeah. That is so tart. Maybe not bad. Again, like, I'm not a key lime guy, and every time I have key lime and it's super tart, everyone tells me, oh, they love it. So I'm in the minority. It's really not bad. It's light and airy. If you're looking for something on the lighter side on this dessert list, that might be your best option. It's really not bad. Just very tart. You get to get a very tart lime flavor. It also has sea salt shortbread. That's the base. You can pick that up for sure. There's a raspberry agave, a margarita coulis, which is that. I'm gonna try a little with that this time. Let's try a little bit of that. Maybe that brings it to life. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, because then it becomes lime and raspberry. It's very tropical. A light, airy tropical cheesecake. Give that a 5. It's not bad. It's pretty good. All right, I'm going to try, this is in front of me, process of elimination. The Mexican chocolate tart, again, no one in the family wanted to take credit. Spiced chocolate cream, caramel pecan nuts, and chocolate glaze. This is kind of a safety dessert too, right?
Not a big sundae. It's very tiny.
Oh my God. I was like, how is this spiced? Like, I had a first bite and it was just mostly the pie crust. And I was like, it's just chalky with a dark chocolate flavor. It's not great.
Good the way he cut it.
The spice just kicked in. I apologize for calling this a safety dish. It is very spicy. It's so delayed, it's crazy. It takes a good 5 seconds before it starts burning. This is excellent. Rich dark chocolate flavor, which by itself wouldn't be remarkable, but that really pleasant burn after, you get that sweetness with the burn. This is a 7. I love this. You're probably not even going to try this. It's spicy.
I want to try it.
You want to try it? I'm proud of you. Go here. I'm going to move on to the next item while you do that. Process of elimination. I have 3 left. I don't know what this one is. Mama Coco's Coffee Cream. This is Mama Coco's Coffee Cream. Who can forget that famous scene where Mama Coco makes coffee cream? With lady fingers. I guess the base is probably lady fingers. Kahlua espresso and mascarpone cheese. This is the no sugar added dessert also. How is it?
It's still delayed. The kick at the end.
The kick is it's super delayed, right?
Yeah.
But you like it though?
Yeah.
That's high praise. My mother is not too spicy. It's different, right? I like when things are different. I like when someone tries, and I'm sure I bet that's very traditional. For no sugar added, that's pretty good. It's light and airy. The lady fingers, you get that almond cake flavor from the lady fingers. Definitely, you have to like coffee. Real rich coffee flavor, as if you just straight up drank espresso. And the richness of the cheese is pretty good. I give this a 6. I like this. All right. Want to try the no sugar added? Yeah, give me the warm thing before it's not warm anymore. This is... What was this spoon for? What was I supposed to eat with this? There was a sundae spoon. The big soup spoon is... I'm so confused. This is the warm coconut tres leches, which would be one of my favorites usually, which is 3 milk-soaked coconut cake, caramel sauce, and dulce de leche ice cream. It's a special ice cream with this. Let's get some of that on here. I think this is what we had in the sundae on night 2, I think, the dulce de leche ice cream.
Tastes like pork.
Oh.
No, the chocolate.
I am a coconut fiend, and so I love this. It might be a little too one note for people, because what I'm really just getting is like profound coconut cake, which is really rich. Yeah, I mean almost just coconut. But with the dulce de leche ice cream, it brings it to a whole nother level. That milky, creamy with the coconut cake. I love this. I might be giving this a higher rating than most people would, but I would give this a 7 also. Really light and moist. That ice cream though, the dulce de leche ice cream, oh my God. I feel like some people might be turned off by just how coconut, like it's almost just pure coconut. And last but not least, Tia Gloria's flan de queso, which is cream cheese flan, dried apricot and pineapple Florentine snap. Very nice. I just want to try the snap. Like Thanos, I want to try the snap.
So what are we doing next?
It's really interesting. It's like a crispy caramel with, apricot and pineapple. And it tastes like real, not artificial flavor, like very real apricot pineapple. It's nice. But let's try the actual dessert. So ricotta, I'll say in English for everybody, ricotta cheesecake is a thing my Aunt Teresa makes. This reminds me, for some reason, a lot of that, because it's made with cream cheese. And it really is, if you imagined like eating a block of caramel cream cheese. It's kind of what this is. It's not bad, it's pretty good. I think it needs something to offset it though. It's a little too rich. I'm gonna try with a little bit of the whipped cream. The whipped cream helps, but I think this is too much for one human. it's so overpowering. I give this like a 4. It's interesting, probably very traditional, but just too rich and too much for one human being. And it needs something. I don't know what else you could put, either more whipped cream or something else to offset that a bit. But overall, I mean, a majority of the dessert's exceptional. So definitely leave some room on night 1. Certainly, I mean, coming off of Worlds of Marvel, I could have eaten McDonald's tonight and given it a 7. But regardless of that fact, I think this still would have been a very good meal. Very impressed with this restaurant now, having done both nights. Very impressed with this restaurant, and certainly a favorite for Disney Cruise Line's rotational dining.
I love the fake bakery window. There's a fake bakery window. I'm going to see the bread. Get the fake bread. I have a thing for fake food. Sorry. I love good propping. Good propping. I believe when we come in here for night 2, it will be darker. It felt darker, at least. I don't know. Maybe this is just how the lighting is when you leave. Maybe they turned the lights off because we took too long to eat the first time. My parents are ready to roll. I have to say goodbye to my favorite member of the Rivera family, the one that they gave a Coke bottle to on the Ofrenda. So I have a recommendation. Sorry. The ghosts are whispering and I'm interrupting them. If you come here on Pirate Night, a lot of people like to see the fireworks. I mean, I've seen them before, so... but if you come here on Pirate Night, there's like no one in here. The Haunted Mansion parlor is just about empty. Someone's humming Grim Grinning Ghosts. I haven't heard this part of the loop yet. Oh, there goes the clock, yeah.
We have 999 happy haunts here, but there's room for 1,000. Any volunteers?
For better or for worse?
Creepies and crawlies, toads in a pond. Let there be music from regions beyond. Wizards and witches, wherever you dwell, give us a hint by ringing a bell.
The happy haunts have received your sympathetic vibrations and are beginning to materialize. They're assembling for a swinging wake, and they'll be expecting me. I'll see you all a little later.
Very fitting on its 70th anniversary that Whale of a Tale is playing on the ship. And it's like this with the moon above. Whale of a Tale, and it's all true, I swear by my tattoo.
Stop on by, hop a cloud and fly to another Arabian night. Arabian.
So that's the wrong one. They still don't have the Pirate Night one working, which was a problem on the media cruise too, but yeah, that's not the one that was supposed to play, but I guess we're not getting that one anytime soon. Time for a look at the Night 3 towel, quote-unquote towel animal and gift. The towel animal is this, like, I think he's supposed to be a pirate. He has the pirate coins for eyes. But the cool thing is, I, of course, am a lifelong Disney pin collector. And this is super cool. So it comes in a wood Disney treasure box. Look at that latch. The latch is neat. Look at this big gold Maiden Voyage Voyager mini pin in her costume, which I don't think people are already complaining you can't really meet her on the ship in that costume. I don't know. We'll see. We have a lot of days left, so maybe it'll happen eventually, but on the media cruise, she was only out for certain members of the media. We weren't in the group they considered for that. But I know people on board have already been complaining because they want to meet her in this costume, but this is a really cool pin. Doesn't indicate what it's a limited edition of, but it's particularly Maiden Voyage. So I would assume a majority of the people who will get this are only those on the Maiden Voyage, but of course, usually they overorder, so I don't know if they'll end up given to cast members, sold to cast members, given to some people on the next cruise. Sometimes that stuff happens, but this is really cool. I love this.